here is my paint palette, which is a very messy plate because I'm painting at home. I do have to be careful not to accidentally put my paintbrush in my coffee. I have done that a number of times and it's not good, especially if I then absentmindedly take a sip of it. And here we go. So remember, what we're aiming to do is to add colours in the style of Kandinsky. I'm going to begin with the trees, and I'm going to use a mixture of this style and this style because I would quite like to bring a little bit more colour in, and possibly also to bring in some quite autumnal colours as well as some of the darker ones. I'm going to paint quickly and I'm going to be applying colour directly onto the trees to see what sort of effects I can get. I'm going to use the thicker of my two brushes because these are the large trees in the foreground that I'm going to start working with first. And my brush is just damp, it's not wet, and I'm going to paint directly, having dipped my brush in my palette, onto the trees and see what effects I can create, beginning with the red. Now I don't want all of these trees to be the same, so I might do some and then leave some others to become a different colour. I do want this lovely red that I'm using, this very bright red, to stand out beautifully against the black. You'll notice that I'm not completely painting over the black, and I'm also being quite careful not to, I've gone a little bit too far down there, but that's not a problem, to let it blend in with the black so I'm not smudging my pastel. I'm then going to add some yellow, which I'm not fully mixing it, I'm just allowing it to, and then that will give me a really nice effect on the page. You'll notice that I'm not painting with a smooth stroke, I'm actually dabbing the paint on to create the effect that I'm after. I don't want to paint all the trees all in one go because I'd quite like to experiment with some different colours. Now I'm going to use some white. I'm going to use some of this that I've already got down here, just bring it up here, and again just put some on my brush so that I can add highlighted areas. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to create a slightly darker area, and I'm just going to wipe my brush. Remember I said that wiping the brush is a good way to get excess paint off before you then rinse it. It means you don't get as much paint in your water pot, which will keep your water usable for longer. Like the Impressionists, Kandinsky liked to use blue rather than black to suggest areas of shade, which is what I'm going to be doing here, and to play around with the different colours. And then I'm actually going to use a little of this lilac-y colour here as well. It becomes almost a grey, but it's not grey, it has a little bit of the blue in it. Let's see, I'm just beginning to just a tiny bit mix that in with some of the red as well.